Welcome to the stage, Director of IT for National Broadband Ireland, John Power.
Hi everyone, super excited to be here. That's for you, Isabella. It brings a little tear to my eye every single time I see that video, and I've seen it a lot of times because there's a huge amount of purpose to what we're doing in Ireland in relation to broadband access. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that story here today. So my name is John Power. I've been delivering software into, was there a technical glitch? Here we go. Delivering software into telecoms companies globally for the last 25 years. So let's start with the EU's vision. The EU's vision is for a gigabit society. Gigabit access for everyone in Europe. Currently, there are the haves and the have-nots. There is an urban and rural divide. The vision for a European gigabit society is to bridge that divide. There is phenomenal opportunity out there, and it shouldn't be dictated by where you live, whether it's rural or whether it's urban. In Ireland, National Broadband Ireland is closing that gap. National Broadband Ireland is combining world-class fibre infrastructure with world-class cloud infrastructure, AWS. We're also pioneering open access wholesale model, essentially treating broadband as a utility. So what is National Broadband Ireland? National Broadband Ireland was set up to deliver the National Broadband Plan. A little history. Way back in 2017, the Irish government launches the National Broadband Plan bid process. In late 2019, the Irish government signed contracts with an international telecoms investment company called Granahan McCourt, GMC. I was part of that group, and then I transferred into NBI as IT director. It is the largest public-private partnership in European telecoms history. It received 2.6 billion in public support. This was approved by European Commission state aid rules. It is the biggest investment in rural Ireland since electrification 100 years ago. Ireland is one of the most rural economies in all of Europe. The National Broadband Plan is widely recognised as the boldest, most ambitious telecoms build in the world. We're connecting over 1.1 million people, serving 600,000 homes, schools, businesses, spanning 96% of the country. It's enough fibre to go around the planet 3.5 times. Deploying as well over about 1.5 million poles. With this ambitious plan, we'll see Ireland move from the bottom of the EU league tables to the top of the EU league tables. This is a blueprint for other nations to follow. Just a little bit about the bid itself. The bid had looked at a minimum of 30 megs download for every single household in rural Ireland. We actually decided to jump that quite considerably by putting in XGS-PON, which was a future vision-based fibre technologies. We launched with a 500 meg product. So people in farms around Ireland now can get better internet access than I can. So in Dublin. So 500 megs, 900 meds, 1 gig is what they're actually going to get. And again, I find this incredibly motivating that you have script kiddies that were maybe educated in urban areas that have come from rural areas will now be able to go home to their own farmhouses where they were from and actually start coding and doing startups from their own houses without having to work in the big areas. So the approach. Ireland, like every other country, has been dominated by an incumbent network that has been saddled by legacy networks and technology. Large proportions of Ireland was seen as economically unviable. Companies wouldn't deliver it because they couldn't make any money out of it. This is not unique to Ireland. I'm seeing this all over Europe at the moment. And there is a shift with broadband that it is being treated now like a utility. And this is the model Ireland has adopted for this. It encourages competition in the market and end customers benefit from it. If you look at the pricing for that 500 meg product, it's 27 euros. The approach, NBI was a greenfield implementation. No legacy platforms, therefore we could utilize IT best practice from the outset. NBI's platform was based on a key number of limited commercial off-the-shelf platforms supported by serverless architecture and managed service capabilities offered by AWS. What did we actually build? We built the ability to capture, to provision an order, to bill an order, and also monitor the network from a performance and from a fault management point of view. From a standing start with 3 people in the bid team, we built that to over 160 people, over 4 countries. In the first 12 months, we built phase 1, which was order management to cash, including provisioning, inventory, and billing specifically, while in parallel, integrating internet service providers to our northbound API. And from 12 to 18 months, we built the performance and fault monitoring platforms of the network. Collaboration. So I'm going to talk a little bit about collaboration and around the key learnings, which I think is really core to this presentation itself. Speed to market was incredibly important to us. We had a set of contractual milestones that we had to reach. So we had 12 months to get the telecoms platform stood up. If we missed that milestone, we got no subsidy payments. Therefore, no revenue. We got there using AWS services and a low-code environment. Secondly, customer journey. Having adopted AWS services and the low-code environment, we were able to focus on creating the best customer end journeys. This resulted in a net promotional score of 91%, unheard of in telecoms industry. Automation. We automated as much as possible to remove manual interventions where possible, providing faultless API high transaction volumes. In-life ease of use. Modification of those customer journeys themselves in this managed service environment is substantially easier than trying to do it in a high-code environment. So some of the key learnings. You can't know everything. In NBI's case, we had a very tight timeline. We partnered with PFH Technology Group to deliver to those contractual milestones. Multi-governance environment, or multi-vendor governance. This is important, and this is why I'm struggling to get those words out. NBI had a multi-vendor environment. Spend time strategizing around automation of your environmental release management and test from day one. I can't stress that enough. Don't be afraid to experiment or prototype. We had a requirement for 24/7 processing of very, very large geospatial files. We experimented with Amazon's Z1D instance and lowered processing times by over 80%, again pulling in those contractual milestones and allowing us to hit them. AWS skill sets, train up or buy in. NBI partnered with PFH at the early stages, and now we've transitioned those specific skill sets in-house. Cost control, very important. Assign costs and threshold spend responsibility to the departments consuming the services. This will drive optimization and value for money. Thank you, but if I was to leave you with just one point, new broadband technology is unleashing opportunities previously unavailable to rural communities. And equally, AWS is liberating telecoms industry from legacy practices and outdated operating models. Thank you very much. I'm here also for questions at a later stage.